Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw. Oh, good morning, you Magic the Gathering players. This is Saturday morning, the day after the Marvel Secret Lair drop. I'm bringing you 5 cards for Wolverine Best There Is. And after reading this commander's ability, I swear, you have to be a very skilled player to win with this commander. I don't think it's easy to play. I really don't. It's such an easy target, but he's difficult to master. Let me get right into it. All the words on the left hand side are words that you can find on Scryfall Tagger that pretty much describe the card itself over here to the right. And that card is Wolverine Best There Is. He is a gruul commander for red, green, and colorless on a 2/2 body. He is a mutant berserker hero. Whoa, say that 50 times fast. Mutant berserker hero. I'm not going to do that. On to the next slide where I can enlarge the video, or actually the commander's abilities. Let's go. Okay, he is a 2/2. He has unrivaled lethality. Double all damage Wolverine would deal. At the beginning of each instep, if Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Tap 2. Colorless and a green. Regenerate Wolverine. The next time he would be destroyed this turn, instead tap him, remove him from combat, and heal all damage from him. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack right here. So when he attacks or blocks or deals damage in any other type of fashion, such as non combat damage, it is double the damage. Remember that double the damage no matter what. And at the beginning of each end step, if Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn in any shape, form, or fashion, such as a fight mechanic or a fling mechanic, he won't survive if he flings, as a fight mechanic or blocking, put a +1/+1 counter at the end of turn. Cool, cool. Let's get to the fight mechanic cards. Okay, so I had to start off with on the left hand side a Duskmourn card, brand new, Beastie Beatdown for a red and a green. It's a sorcery. It says choose target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls. It has Delirium. If there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, put 2 +1/+1 counters on the creature you control. The creature you control deals damage equal to its power to a creature an opponent controls. So when you're playing Wolverine, you're trying to play as many spells. You're trying to wipe the board of your opponent's creatures through combat, okay, or non-combat ways. So your opponent can't have creatures so you can swing commander damage. Wolverine is a commander damage type of commander, okay. So there's a creature in the way, he's slashing it up. This is exactly what Beastie Beatdown is doing. So you're pretty much making him a 4/4, and when he deals damage, he deals 8 damage. That's crazy. Like doubles the value on any type of combat. All right, moving on to Betrayal of the Vault. This is from the Thunder Junction set for 6 mana, but it's an instant. Okay, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of 2 other creatures. So I know, I know it's 6 mana, but there is that little elf druid or druid thing that says red and green spells cost 1 less to cast. But this is a good card because it's at instant speed, and when an opponent plays a fatty creature, you have an answer to it. Wolverine just takes down big creatures. He doubles the amount of damage. Do not underestimate that. These are my fight mechanic cards that are a little from the cheap end to the most expensive end, but they're rewarding. Okay, that's why I'm telling you it takes a skilled type of player to work with Wolverine because you're going to be limited to the amount of cards in your hand and your turns and what you do on your combat phase. You know what's really important for him? Being able to untap him. He's got to have vigilance or untap effect. That's what's going to make him potent. Straight up. And make sure you have a Seaborn Muse to untap your lands. Straight up. You need those in this type of deck. Starting on the left hand side, some more fight mechanic cards. I got Windswift Slice for 3 mana as an instant. It says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Create a number of 1/1 green elf creature tokens equal to the amount of excess damage this way. Great. Remember, Wolverine doubles the amount of damage, so you possibly get a buttload of elves that you can put on the battlefield. That's pretty crazy. You know, if you hit a 1/1 and you did 8 damage to it from Wolverine, you get 7 of those creatures. And don't put out one of those double token things. It could be 14 creatures, right? I might be babbling, but hopefully you guys know these cards a little bit, so it can just like expand your mind if you want to go wide with Wolverine. But otherwise, it's a nice little card to build a board state. On to the right, we have Contestive Claws for 2 mana. It's a sorcery. It says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. If excess damage was dealt this way, discover X where X is the excess damage. Okay, if you do not know what Discover is, it's pretty much like Cascade. Differently. Differently. I'll read it. Discover is where you exile a card from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with that mana value or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost, or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in your library in a random order. So this card is really good. So you can play an extra card or pretty much put an extra card in your hand for 2 mana. Remember, he doubles the amount of damage. So you're most likely going to do excess damage. It's a good way to almost like manipulate your deck in green, which you're not able to do that all the time, right? It's just a way to get more cards. That's why I'm telling you, this commander, you're going to have to be very skilled to play. Gruul is not an easy color to play, in my opinion. It's very, most Gruul commanders, I swear, I think they're just pretty much like use green to tap and add mana and use a burn spell to knock out opponents. There's only a few that are kind of like combat based, unique, and I think Wolverine, it takes a skilled player to play. Okay, to the left here is a very popular card. We have Chandra's Ignition for 5 mana. It's a sorcery that reads target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent's. So remember, Wolverine doubles the damage that he deals. So if he's only 2, he would deal 4 damage to each other creature and each opponent. He's almost like a blasphemous act with this card, except for he won't die. That's pretty powerful. So the bigger you make Wolverine, the bigger he becomes a blasphemous act with Chandra's Ignition. And if you don't know what Blasphemous Act is, the red board white staple for pretty much what 12 mana minus how many creatures on the battlefield, and you can pretty much pay 1 red mana to do 13 damage. Yeah, yeah. Moving on to the right hand side, we have Passionate Archaeologist. For 2 mana is a legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell from exile, this creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponents. So, red is known for impulsive draw and exiling cards and allowing you to play them from exile. This is a good way to sync your impulse draw and deal damage at the same time. You want to burn players, get them low, just like through other ways. I can't say it's subtle. You're doing it on purpose, but other ways. Because if you're not and you're relying on combat, that's going to be a little tough. A little tough. So that's why I say it's going to take a skilled player, and you need to add other ways to deal damage to your opponents with Wolverine. So yeah, one of the cards I think is really awesome with Passionate Archaeologist is Arcane Bombardment. It's not on here, but you're literally casting spells from exile, and you can deal damage as long as Wolverine is on the battlefield. Okay, so I got one last card here. It is Soul's Fire for 3 mana. It's an instant. So imagine game-winning scenarios. Wolverine's on the battlefield. You tap 3 mana, cast this instant. Target creature you control deals damage equals to its power to any target. If you have Wolverine, a big fat 10-10, and you play Soul's Fire, he will do 20 damage to an opponent or creature, whatever you're choosing. Easy as that. I'm just giving you ways to deal damage with Wolverine, right? Because he will double the amount of damage he does, either through combat or non combat ways. Duh, what'd you expect? We're gonna make him bigger and stronger. We're gonna go tall with Wolverine. That's why I have this card called Enlarge for 5 mana. It says target creature gets +7/+7 and gains trample until end of turn. It must be blocked if able. Okay, so I would like to use this as a creature board wipe, right? So, let's say Wolverine's a 2/2. You make him a 9/9 after this card. He literally can do 18 damage. And all those creatures your opponent has, they have to block him. 18 damage. That's a board wipe off of combat. Then, if you have extra combat phases here, just saying, extra combat phases, you're swinging with an 18/18. Yeah. Yeah. Aggravated assault is a must have. Extra combats, Fury of the Horde are must haves with Wolverine. That's what I'm telling you. It takes a skilled player to play Wolverine because you're going to be limited on the amount of mana you have, and you have to strategically play your turn and hope to pray that your opponents don't have interaction and remove him. Otherwise, you're stuck back on the drawing board. But fortunately, he's only 3 CMC. Okay, so when I'm showing you this card, I'm a fan of cards having more than one ability on them, right? This is kind of like the first ways that they had a card with more than one ability. It is 2 cards on one, and you get to play either side. So it says armed on the left hand side for 2 mana, red in the colors, sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. Why is double strike important with Wolverine? Because he deals double the damage. So if you swing with a 2/2 Wolverine and he doubles his own damage, it'd be 4, but then he has double strike. So you deal 4 2 times. That could be a total of 8 damage. Pretty gross. He's nasty with double strike. Over here on the right hand side, we have Dangerous for 4 mana. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. Uh, if you don't know by now, I love that effect. I love that effect. There's cards that your opponents do not want to block with, and it's a good way to force them to block and lose that creature. Think those stupid blood artists. Nobody's going to block with a blood artist unless they have to. This is a way to get rid of a blood artist. Otherwise, back to armed and dangerous, you can play both sides at the same time. You see the bottom card where it says fuse, you may cast one or both halves of this card from your hand. That's why the card is called armed and dangerous. Once again, thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, I am Commander Claw. I'm up Saturday morning, the day after the Marvel Secret Lair drops, trying to help you brew. I'm going to be coming out with more videos, actually can I say deck lists, deck ideas for these Marvel commanders. But right now I'm just starting with these 5 cards that I think you could add quickly while you're brewing this early Saturday morning. Well, it's like October 19th, man, 2024. Hey, if you made it this far, subscribe. Let me know if you anything in the comments, anything you do or don't like. Peace.